we've got this problem all summer. So it's time for laser eye surgery. Hi, my name's Johnny, and today we are taking a look at the California TT Sandberg. You are new, then you should go and subscribe. When I think of Sandberg, I think of high quality instruments. There are certain features on the Sandbergs you see which are really, really great. We'll get into it now. Before I talk about this bass in any more detail, I do just want to let you know that this one is on loan from Sandberg. They haven't paid me to say anything or anything like that, so all thoughts are my own, and I'm going to tell you what I really think about this bass. Because this bass is kind of different to what I normally do, because it's very expensive. These basses come in at around £2,000, which is quite the eye-watering figure for a jazz bass. But there is more than first meets the eye, so let's get into it. Straight away at the top, we start seeing some of this signature Sandberg sweetness with this string tree that goes across all the strings there. Wait, no it doesn't. Goes across all the strings apart from the E string. I think this is great, and just your standard 2. Look at these machine heads, they're so cool and cute and round. Obviously really high quality, no issues there. And then of course a 0 fret. Flippin' love a 0 fret. Sandbergs are very well known for having these on all their basses, and I just think it makes everything so much tighter, piano-like, just really well compressed and a nice attack to it. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Got a kind of like half gloss satin finish on the back. It doesn't feel totally satin or unfinished, but it's not high gloss either. It's kind of like a gloss neck that's been worn in, I would say. On this Canadian hard maple neck, we have got this rosewood board. It's the rosiest rosewood I've ever seen. Normally I like a darker neck, and when I first saw this bass, I thought it's a bit too rosy for me, but actually I've grown to quite like it, especially in combination with this taut pickguard. On the kind of tobacco-y burst ash body, we've got a 6-bolt construction for the neck, and then our 9-volt battery compartment that powers the preamp. This particular model is a soft aged one, which means that it is relict to look a little old, but it's not over the top. It's really tastefully and masterfully done. It just looks like it's been played for a good few years. These Sandbergs actually come equipped with Delano pickups, which I don't know if I've played Delano pickups before. Unlike a kind of common jazz bass, these have got the larger kind of Music Man style magnet, big pole pieces in here, and I love a big pole. Then we've got this classic Sandberg medium mass bridge. One thing I hate about restringing basses is when you've got to pull the string all the way through the bridge as well. But with these, you don't need to do that. The ball ends kind of slot into the bottom of the bridge here, which means you just take them out and put them in really, really easily. Bass comes in at about 8.4 pounds, so considering the electronics it's got on board and the high quality woods, it doesn't feel too heavy to me at all. Speaking of those electronics, we have got here a 2-band preamp, a bass control, treble control, pickup blend, and then a master volume. You can pull the master volume out to put it into passive mode, and when you do that, the treble control turns into a passive tone control. I mean, let's be real, if you're paying this kind of money for this instrument, it would be pretty bad if it didn't have that on it. That's not a super common feature, but for this kind of price point, I think that's an absolute must. So thank the Lord. You might be thinking, for £2,000, where's the mid control? I actually don't feel like you need it, and I'll talk about that a little later on. But now, let's have a listen. Straight from the bass, we are going into the Line 6 HX Stomp, which has the Gallion-Kruger head and the Ampeg SVT 8x10 cab. But first, let's have a listen to the DI sound. This is both pickups on, active mode engaged, and preamp completely flat. It just sounds so good, so full, and I feel like a combination between the bridge and the 0 fret is really helping it with that really piano-like attack. Sounds almost compressed, but there's nothing going on. Like, listen to how even it is when you're doing an open note compared to a fretted one. Now we've got the HX Stomp on, and this is what it sounds like in passive mode. Let's try and get a P bass kind of sound on the neck pickup, tone all the way up. And then when we roll it back. Now all the way on the bridge. It sounds fine, the bridge, like, that's not my kind of sound at all. Let's have a listen to both together. I think it sounds great, and I'm only in passive mode, so now let's turn the preamp on. Whoa! Because I've got tone all the way up, that means treble is all the way up too. Now I'm going to go to commonly one of my favourite kind of sounds of these basses. Bass slightly boosted and the treble boosted a little bit more than that. I'm going to play that sound just the DI, so you can hear how fat it's sounding. Now let's hear it with some effects. This is the Obsidian 7000 in the HX Stomp, which is based on a dark glass pedal. We're in active mode, but with everything flat, both pickups on. Here we go. This thing sounds phenomenal, I think. Like, so crisp and clear. It takes effects really, really well. And it's just got this natural kind of compression, and it's just got this natural compression to it, which doesn't sound unnatural, but makes it sound super premium. And you can really hear how expensive it is, I suppose. I think these Delano pickups with the bigger magnets give it a slightly more thicker sound than a standard jazz bass. Sometimes the bass control full can be a bit much. But if you wanted that really subby sound, you could always up it a little bit and take all the highs off. It's certainly not lacking any low end anyway. I tend to way prefer basses with 2-band preamps. I can't explain why. I think it's like there's one less thing to worry about. Whilst playing this bass, I've never had the feeling of like, oh, I could do with adjusting the mids. It's a jazz bass, so it's kind of naturally scooped anyway, but by boosting the bass and treble a little bit, you can get that slightly more scooped sound as the mids are not being touched at all. But yeah, sounds absolutely incredible, I think. And let's finish up the review. So there we go. I tried something a little bit differently with the sound demo on this one. So let me know what you think of that down below, as well as your thoughts on the sound of this bass. I hope it came across in that demo. I'm absolutely loving this bass. And the playability is just on another level. It feels phenomenal. Sound-wise, like I kind of said before, really, really punchy, almost compressed sounding, but not too much, super natural. Normally with active basses, when you put into passive mode, it leaves a lot to be desired. But actually, I really liked the passive tones of this bass. Just a fatter sounding jazz bass in passive mode, and then you'd put it into active, and then it's just an absolute machine for all genres. So yeah, a slapping success from Sandberg, if you ask me. Definitely go to their website and check out their full range. I, in particular, really want to check out the Florence in future. I think that's an incredible looking short scale. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.